Good morning, this is Tom Aspray with the Viper Market Wrap video for the week ending August 12th. Of course, we got the long-awaited CPI number out of the way last week, and it lit fire under the markets. Let's take a look at the action in the futures to start off with. The 260 started off the week on the short side here from Friday. Had a reversal signal for about at 41.26. We're stopped out here at 41.11 and change for a 14-point profit. This long position garnered about a 19 3/4. It didn't last too long, a couple of bars here. Went back to the short side here, heading into the CPI number. Never made it to any of our downside targets. And then, of course, with the upward explosion before the open, our short position here was taken out for a just over a 52-point hit. But the rest of the week was pretty good. We hit all of our targets, including the 42.59 on the upside. Of course, we closed at 42.82, so our entry on that long side was at 41.84. You can see after the signal here, we did have a pretty good opportunity to get back in at that same price. We had a low from the 9:40 to 2 p.m. at 41.78. So basically, that's what I would recommend. Try to get a price in there. You try to get, if you're not pulling the trigger right away, the market will often give you an opportunity to get in at the same price. So we're any remaining positions up about 100 points. So not as good as the last couple of weeks. Of course, past performance is no guarantee of future results. Looks like a net of about 82 points for the week, so at least it was profitable. It was a little hairy there with the CPI report, but it all worked out pretty well. The daily chart, continues to be on this buy from way back here. We've hit all except the last target, 43.07 3/4, about a little over 20 points above where we closed. That looks like it's easily attainable. Yeah, the fib levels we're watching are a little bit above that. Volume is strong, and both the daily and the weekly stochastic confirmer. So this says the daily is bullish, weekly is bullish also. Well, a lot of the financial media after this week, the bears are dropping by the sidelines, but there's still a number of them out there wondering why this rally took place. Fortunately, don't look at the advanced decline line. We've talked about this chart for a while, so I won't bore you too long, but nice bullish divergence here. Low here, and then roughly 4 weeks later, higher low here, broke the downtrend, and it's looking quite strong. It's a little bit overextended here, so we're heading towards the 50% retracement for the QQQs at 339, and above that, a close above 355.45 would be quite bullish, but the weekly chart here continues to look strong, and the Stark band, the weekly, is at around 350 for this week. That's about 20 points above where we are. This daily chart of the SPY, shows that we cleared the 50% last week at 421.08, 61.8 at 434.98. So, and the downtrend's about that same range. Parabolic up move in the AD number, that's really strong. Strong, but it is, it's a bit far above its moving average. The moving average is now rising at this particular race. It looks pretty good for the next month or two, but it is a bit overextended, so we could see some consolidation. The May-June highs in here, 414, 416 should hold the prices. Looking at some other charts of the SPY, you can see the 20-day EMA is about right across above the 100-day, which is finally flattened out at 407. You can hear we've hit the first monthly R1 here at 427.10, 440.65. Is the R2. Certainly, I think if we get above 443 and certainly above 440, some of the people who have a bearish case will probably throw in the towel. This daily chart, shows similar to what we just looked at the other one. The S&P 500 AD line looks pretty powerful. Stocks only has improved. Next resistance here goes back into March. So that'll be a level to watch, which is, could easily be hit next week. NYSE AD is also quite strong. It broken its downtrend. Early on, those who've taken my advanced decline line course, it is sort of a stage one. Stage one here, positive. Stage two, we dropped above that downtrend. In stage three, we broke the major downtrend. That's all, adds weight to the bullish case. In addition to the bullish divergence in the NYSE daily AD line, here you can see higher lows here in the AD line, slightly lower lows in the price of the New York Composite. The McClellan Oscillator showed much higher lows. This bullish trend, it tested its uptrend here last week before we rocketed to the upside. It's, as the rally matures, it becomes less valuable. So I would not put a lot of emphasis, if you will. If this uptrend is broken, I'll rely more on how the AD line itself is working. But you can see the pattern here is quite strong. A couple other charts here. This is the total put call ratio. Just a few more calls been put. It's not really, dropped down into extreme levels. The index put call ratio ticked up a little bit to 1.33. So there's some put buying probably on Friday with the price actions. That was not too surprising. Any of you are watching the afternoon action of futures, anyone who was trying to cover short positions there had trouble. Some of the sentiment data is improving. Bullish is still quite low, moved up to 32.2. I'd be surprised if it doesn't move above 35 next week after the CPI action. But this is more interesting. The NAAIM, we talked about it back in here, saying that, okay, well, it's really got to prove itself. It's gone from about, 25 up to 71. So that's a good sign. It's, broke above the 50 level here. So it should continue to rise as institutions which have really been out of the market, start to scramble. We have an end of a quarter in September, so they need to show that they've been participating alongside if it's an up quarter, so they may have to buy. And of course, the weekly S&P 500 ID line, has really broken out and made a new high here. So that means that the SPY should also eventually make a new high. That it can be quite early. In 2019, it happened in February, and it took 8 months to 10 months before it made a new price high. Of course, there are some things that I'd like to be looking stronger. The ETF clients have been in the QQQs here at a pretty good level, and we've had a nice run. It's hit the R1 with the R2 at 242, and the relative performance here is positive, so this means it's outperforming the S&P. It doesn't look as strong as, say, some of the other ETFs do vis-a-vis the S&P. OBV here is barely positive. So it's broken its downtrend, but you can see the volume pattern up in here, has declined. So I'd like to see some stronger volume come in next week. These are our current Viper ETF positions. Many of you often email me and ask me what we're in. So we have a number of, we closed some out last week, but a combination of a lot of growth, XLK, QQQ, back from right about when the New York Composite AD line formed that bullish divergence in the middle of July. Also SPY, SMH, and a recent position in the PDC, which is a commodity ETF. So this is a table from today's reports. It shows you the stops, price targets, and monthly pivots. On the stock side, took some 40% profit in one position last week. Of course, past performance is no guarantee. And we have 4 positions right now. CDNS is doing quite well. We're having a profit level. We've taken half that position off, 50%. Same for Apple. Canadian Pacific Railway, it's doing pretty well. We have a 50% sell order in above the market, and then DICOM is just something we're in recently, and we had some new recommendations Monday morning. If you're interested in specific advice for ETFs, you can go to theviperreport.com. You click on this link for Viper Report. It'll take you to the sign-up page, just $34.95 per month, and you get updates at least twice a week, and oftentimes more frequently than that when the market's moving, which is often the case. And if you want stock advice, the Viper Hot Stocks Report, also $34.95, and all through PayPal. You sign up, you're added to the email list, and then should you decide to cancel, then you can do it on your own. And if you want more information on how the Viper Daily Alert System works, there's some analysis here, and also a link to subscriptions to a special introductory offer. Great. Well, I'll see you again next week, and hope you have a good week in trading. Thank you.